Hello there, chocolate sprinkles. We have a question from user Stinger. Doesn't show me the real names anymore, friends. Look at this. The question is, will the market believe that more buyers will enter the market, the Bitcoin market, after the approval of the Bitcoin Spot ETF? If so, it will not be a sell the news event. But if the market believes major players already bought for the next 18 months, by the time the approval happens, there will be a sell-off. However, I don't believe a sell-off would trigger the end of the bull market in 2024, but rather delay the top in 2025. So what Mr. Stinger here is actually saying is referring to the Bitcoin Spot ETF and talking about whether or not the market is going to expect a big move or a tank. It all depends on the crowd at the time and what we get priced in. This is a great comment, and I just wanted to introduce it to you because there is scenario analysis that we have to do when we walk forward in time, and we have to think about them today. So have you heard of a coin called Bitcoin? This is Bitcoin. I'm looking at the Bitcoin. It is a weekly chart, W, and you see this is super trends. Remember, this is just an ATR trend proc. All right, you can look up how it works. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. We don't need much more than this. And it's free. Of course, they're free. We use the best free stuff. So I have two boxes here. We have the halvening box and we have the euphoria box. This box is the halvening box, but we may as well call it the Bitcoin Spot ETF box right now. Because if you're catching up, there is a 99.8% chance that BlackRock gets approved, and it happens on about 224 days, 220 to 250 days. So if we walk forward about 220, we get somewhere roughly, isn't that funny, friends? We get roughly January, February, March of 2024. This would be the average rough zone for the Bitcoin Spot ETF for BlackRock. And of course, if you are just catching up, welcome. Take a seat over there. Keep your back straight. I was speculating before the Spot ETF came. I believed, but my default stance was that it would come and mark the very top. So the earliest that I believed it would come was end of 2024, somewhere here, just as a left translated scam cycle where everybody believes Bitcoin 100K is coming and actually it doesn't. We do a lower high in 2025 and somehow we just never make it. That was what I was expecting. But now with this new information, we have this Spot ETF here. I want you to think about something. Have you heard of a little coin called Ethereum? You see, friends, this is where the game is going to change now. Because Ethereum doesn't have an ETF, but it will potentially have ETF applications. So, how do we think about this? I believe if we move into the Bitcoin halvening, which is what we're doing, this is why we're still in the depression zone. All altcoins down here are massively down, hugely down, enormously down. Anything deeper than minus 80%, to me, that's an automatic auto buy. Don't even think twice about it. Don't even think twice. Just keep auto buying. Don't worry about limits. Don't worry about any of these scam, Ponzi, wick downs, etc. Just keep buying. But if we get to this place of friendship around the Bitcoin halvening and the Bitcoin Spot ETF sends Bitcoin around the zone of, we can say anywhere from 60K down to 30K, which is quite the box. You know, we can even move it up here to signify. Here we go, 30K to around, let's put 55K around here. If we get anywhere in this zone, friends, then we are still in the normal part of the cycle. Nothing new is happening here. This is within the realm of expectations. Even though it is a Bitcoin Spot ETF, it's the holy grail, because we are in that zone and that's nothing new, there is no cause for concern. So everything is continuing as normal. What I'm going to try to do as we move forward in time, because we can't see anything yet, I'm going to try speculate and try to feel around what can drive us even higher beyond the Bitcoin Spot ETF. Because you know what this game is like. Once a narrative is done, I mean, that's it. You need something new. No one cares about that old narrative. It's done. So when it comes to this, I'm thinking about Ethereum ETF. I know this is crazy. Well, we're already one step ahead, right? So once we get the Bitcoin Spot ETF, it's potential that we see after this Bitcoin Spot ETF launches, there's probably it might be a sell the news event. We go up and it's a sell the news event and everyone feels like they got scammed. And then we might continue for 2025. It would be fantastic if somewhere in the midst of that euphoria, people start speculating on the Ethereum ETF. Imagine, I don't think BlackRock's going to apply for an Ethereum ETF in this cycle. But what you got to understand is when Ethereum is moving up, if it's moving up more than Bitcoin, which would be ETH BTC going up, I'm going to show you that chart right now. If ETH BTC is moving up into this golden box somewhere, even though there is no Ethereum ETF, the market is pricing it in. It's going to be very controversial. Most people will say, this is ridiculous, this is stupid, this is baseless FUD, this has absolutely no grounding in reality. They're all going to say that. Of course they are, because when there's a powerful green candle, nobody wants to stop the party. But I am telling you something right now. You can even find that in the chart buried here. Do you see this big rectangle box? Do you see Ethereum versus Bitcoin going up here? This whole big move was Ethereum pricing itself in as the world general purpose smart contract platform. It priced itself in for the next few years. And look what happened after that. It dropped minus 90%. This is the funny part. You see this box here? Ethereum was still gaining developers. Ethereum was still gaining developers and traction. And actually, it still is today. So you can see this giant move by Ethereum in such a short amount of time, this up-only giant mammoth, we are still paying for its sins because it went up so much. So because you see green candles up, don't think that it's the market pricing in today. It's the market pricing in the future. So we got to be prepared for it now. So if we see something like this, I mean, it would be fantastic if we saw a flippening, but my base case, because I'm just skeptical, we've been burned too many times, my base case is that we don't do a flippening in this cycle. I know it sounds crazy, but my base case is we don't do a flippening, but we still trap everybody somewhere. We're going to flip. No, we're not. And then we start doing this and we go flip for the next cycle after that. That's my base case. I hope I'm wrong. So, it's funny. We're talking about the Bitcoin ETF. But see, friends, this is how you got to think ahead of the game. The Bitcoin ETF, by the time we hit this Bitcoin halving, it's going to be priced in. Everybody's going to be speaking about it. In fact, all the people already are getting in now. And you know what's funny? I mean, we already know the insiders, because me and you are outside, the insiders, they already knew this thing was coming. They've been collecting here. They were collecting in the last bear market. They knew this thing was coming. So there's nobody intelligent, no more big whales left to buy once the Bitcoin ETF is actually launched around that Bitcoin halving. And then we're going to have to reset for a new cycle. And then we're going to have to think about the new narrative coming on. Maybe it might be Fed printing, rates going down, etc., more expansion. We'll deal with that next time. Don't worry about that part. I'm thinking about that bull market narrative, because if Bitcoin ETF sends Bitcoin up, it's also likely people will think about the Ethereum ETF and then they will start speculating on that future. And if we're able to get that, we're going to get pretty juicy altcoin returns. And by pretty juicy, I mean Bitcoin dominance going down, Ethereum spanking up higher, and many altcoins will be just flushing up. Probably Uniswap is doing a lot of volume, and there's a lot of volume out there in all the other dexes. All of this will flow on. But you got to remember, when this happens, it doesn't matter what the narrative is. It's the market pricing in the future. If the market gives you money for the future, but they give it to you today, you always have to take it. This is what we have in euphoria. You see up here, when the market prices in the future, you take it today, because you don't have to do the work. That's how you think about it. For example, if I went and I said, hey, give me Bitcoin for $250,000, you would say, okay, I'll sell that to you. But you didn't have to do the work, did you? I am pricing in the future. I want it now, today. So when these weekends come in, that's what happens. They don't want to wait for the future anymore. They want it today. So it is the marketing, the narrative, the story, whatever it is, we're going to be prepared for it. But don't ever forget that. This is the unfortunate part. This is why I keep calling crypto a scam, friends, because once it starts going up, it's actually over. It's actually over. Like the best parts, all the memes, the camaraderie, and everything we're doing here. This is all these fun and games and all the memes and all the videos and everything I'm making, all the content for you. it gets closer and closer to an end as we go up. It's very unfortunate because at the end of the day, we would love our charts to do this, wouldn't we? Up, reprice, just like Tesla, and then up, reprice again. That's what we would love, wouldn't it? We'd love that. Just go up, reprice, up, just reprice. That's what we'd love. You know, there is a chart that out there in the world that has done it. It's actually the Tesla chart. I'm going to show you this. It's a very interesting chart. I love looking at, so when you look at stocks, you realize just how much of a scam crypto is compared to stocks and how much of a stocks manipulation there is. Path. Look at this. Look at this. This is exactly what I just described to you. Isn't this crazy? Tesla. Look at this. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Reprice upwards. Sideways forever. Reprice upwards. Right? And then we might have sideways forever. And then we reprice upwards again later. This is just the God chart. I mean, you can't even argue with this. Even on this is what it looks like on a regular chart. This is a log chart. Isn't this crazy? I mean, if you're curious just how much of a scam stocks are, look at this. I'm going to just do the retracement. 42% retracement. How much was this one? 52%. These are nothing. I mean, what's the Tesla retracement, the one we had then? 75%. I mean, this is a joke for crypto, these retracements. So, unfortunately, we don't get that. And, you know, this is the God run, of course, in Tesla. Did 166x since 2011. But, hey, you're not going to get this again. This is the unicorn. It already got to top 1 rank. It's already going to be worth $1 trillion plus. They're aiming for 10 trillion. So, this is the world we're living in right now. So, when we're looking at Bitcoin, we have to still think about what the crowd is going to be thinking about when the spot ETF comes. Because I'm telling you right now, friends, right now, you have now seen in the past 12 months, you've been paying any attention, and I'll draw it out to you. You have seen both scenarios of prices go down, but the news is good, and then prices go up, but the news is bad. We have seen both scenarios, and you've watched right now, we've had good news, and now hopefully the price goes up. That's one of those scenarios. So it all depends on how the crowd reacts, net value towards this Bitcoin pricing. We're going to have to draw some ranges as we get closer. We don't need to worry about that now. But what would be a super danger zone? I mean, if they want to give us, look, I'll just tell you right now, if they want to give us like a $60,000 Bitcoin into the Bitcoin halving, I'm sure we'd take it. But everybody says this, but here's the thing. Are you going to be holding at 50K? What about 45K? Because everybody says, yeah, I'll take a premium price, but most likely you would get out before the premium price. So once you start entering this world, we're going to have to start deciding, okay, what's fair value? How much do we think the Bitcoin ETF is going to be pricing in? How much money are people going to be pouring in after? These really aren't going to matter too much when we plot out the cycle. But within this sort of macro swing that comes out, maybe we have this 3 to 6 month period where it's worth some sort of punt. We'll evaluate it then. But for now, absolutely nothing to worry about because this is happening earlier than I thought. Okay. And of course, I'm talking about this Ethereum ETF that's not even out there. So this is what the market insiders do. This stuff that's in the news now, it's too late. Everybody buying now is going to be buying for the Bitcoin ETF, which is great for me and you. But when it does end, we got to think, who's left? Just think about that. Who is left? Because when the Bitcoin ETF is starting, right, it opens. Now you have mum and dad DCA buying. You don't have, okay, now we put in 15 trillion coming in. It's a steady onflow. And most likely it's going to be people front running that. So we're going to be ready no matter what happens. And don't forget, okay, we still have more sell pressure from the US government. We still got Grayscale at a huge discount. And we still have the Mt. Gox Bitcoin. I'm going to make another video about them later because the market has somehow convinced everybody to forget about them. But we're going to be smarter than that. We're already in altcoins waiting for the eventual stop. And we're going to see how the rest of the cycle transpires. Tell mum and dad we still love them. Like, subscribe, press the belly button and all. Catch you in the next one.